And we're live. Hey everyone, hi, nice to see you all. Thank you for being here. So nice to see you popping in. Welcome to this free two-part online angel training. Today's session is all about everything you need to know about angels. So as you arrive and as you get here, please let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Let everybody know what part of the world you're representing today. And the most important thing to share as we all arrive and come into this space is that every single person in this space is of equal standing. And I really believe that all of us have all come from the same source of creation, that same creator. And I believe all of us will return to that same space. So even though maybe all of us have not had equal opportunity or equal experience in this space, I like you to know that I am your equal. And I don't want to be considered more spiritual or more special than you. I am someone who's on the path with you. So please look at me as your spiritual running buddy. I'm in this with you, a student of spirituality as well. And I am a student of many different spiritual traditions, and I've studied a lot of spirituality along the years. And what I've really come to understand is that the moment we make someone more or less holy than ourselves is the moment we lose track of our own holiness. And so I always try to see every single person in this planet through the eyes of love, knowing that they are essentially an expression of divine human form. The other thing I wanted to share with you today is, today I'm going to be sharing with you my ideas and the information that I've learned about angels over the years. And I've got a lot of different ideas and maybe a different way of looking at some things. And so my promise to you, my friend, is that I'm going to be sharing my experience and my truth with you. And if your truth and your experience says something different, that's okay. I don't need you to believe everything that I share. And I don't need you to agree on everything that I share, because I really believe in critical thinking and really tuning into something and feeling, is this right for me? Does that feel in alignment to what I know in my experience? And so I wanted to say, especially in this world that can feel very polarized, that if your truth and my truth are slightly different, I think it's okay to respect each other and look each other, let each other have their own experience, and not to condemn anyone for a different way of thinking. So that's that. And if we've never been formally introduced to each other, you'll probably see my cheeks are getting pinker as we go. My name is Kyle Gray. I am in the west coast of Scotland, and my life's work is really to help as many people get spiritually connected as humanly possible. And over the last 20 years, I've really built up my reputation in helping people do that. Initially starting off doing private spiritual readings, training as a medium and training in the intuitive world, and then eventually going down the path of studying Indian traditions and yoga and Ayurvedic thinking, and then, increasing my knowledge along the way of many different spiritual paths and traditions. And today, my mission to get as many people spiritually connected as humanly possible happens through a number of different pathways. It might happen through yoga and meditation, particularly Kundalini yoga and meditation, which is a deep interest of mine, or through mantra. I play harmonium and I love to chant, so it could be through that. It might be through the experiences of crystal healing. You'll probably see in this room I'm in, I've got heaps of crystals that I've collected for a long time. Crystals are a big love of mine. Raising your vibration doing practices and meditations to really elevate your consciousness, or finally, angels. And the one thing that I'm really excited to share about angels is that through these 20 years of deep study and experience, I've learned that no matter who you are and no matter where you're from, you have an angel. So of course, who you are matters and your experience matters. But what I'm saying is no one has been forgotten. And I really believe that everyone in this entire planet has an angel or angels, in the sense of more than one, working with us, connecting with us, here to support us on our way. This being that really is this personification of divine energy. And, my life has really shown that when people put effort and energy into understanding angels and really getting into their way of thinking and being, we can really amplify the direct experience of them. So today's workshop is called Everything You Need to Know About Angels. And my intention with this coming together today is really just to help you have a baseline of information about the angels. And I know that many of you tuning in right now will probably already be well versed in the angel world. You might already have done a lot of personal study, and you might already have your own set of angel cards, which we'll be speaking about a bit more about in part two. But I really wanted to kind of get into my way of thinking and share with you the way I experience angels, and also to really come here today and strip back on some things to really help you see things differently. And I want to say this, like when I started really delving into the world of angels 20 years ago, which seems so crazy to think that it was 20 years ago when I got my first angel card deck. The way I have experienced angels and the way I initially saw angels, or would see angels in my meditations, have changed and it has developed. And I would say it's a much more visceral connection, in the body connection I have today than it was maybe 20 years ago, which was very clairvoyant, very mental. So I want to take you on a journey just to really understand angels and hopefully give you new ways of thinking and approaching these divine beings. And my goal is just to help you feel more connected. And if you feel more supported, more aligned, then I can guarantee you that my mission is fulfilled. And I don't want to just plug work, all my achievements and work the whole time, but I'm going to say two things to you. If there's one thing that I'll say is, if you want to delve deep into my work a little bit more, or want to learn more about my way of thinking, there's two products that I have that I highly recommend. The first one is this Oracle deck. I couldn't even find the box because I use this every day, and it's on my nightstand in a little bag. But this Oracle deck is called Angel Guide Oracle, and it was created with the amazing Welsh artist Jennifer Hawkyard. Honestly, this Oracle deck is my favorite I've created, especially when it comes to just really delving into the world of the angels and getting to know them. So I recommend this, and also my book, Angel Prayers. Oops, knocking over other books in the process. This one, I think I wrote this in 2013, and I updated it in 2016, maybe. Anyway, this book, Angel Prayers, I still stand by it as my best contribution to the angel world, because it teaches you how to pray the way I pray, which is very different from what you might learn in church or another religious setting. So let's jump into angels. Angels, 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 angels. I love the word angel because, when we say the word angel, we're actually invoking a greater presence. So the word angel means messenger of God. The reason for that is the El in the name. El comes from the Hebrew word Elohim. Elohim or Elohim is the word that means divine, essence. And it's really cool when you think of Elohim, because it's a more, it's a presence rather than a person. And I think in order to really get into the angelic way of thinking and, understanding angels from a more spiritual perspective, it's really important to remember that angels are not a person, but a presence. So they have this energetic presence rather than an individual look. And so when you first maybe think of angels, your idea of an angel might be, that traditional winged figure, this kind of tall, blonde-haired and blue-eyed winged being. And I think that was the initial block that I experienced when I started to study angels and really look into angels, through the years. When I first kind of came into this world, there was a couple of different, world famous speakers and teachers in the world of angels. And the truth of the matter is, the most famous of them all had lots of images of angels, and they all had a six-pack and blonde, wavy hair, looking like surfers who just, came out of the ocean in the west coast of California. And as much as that, handsome image of an angel with a six-pack and blue eyes and blonde hair existed, there was something that really felt inauthentic about that for me. And when I started to really try and meditate on the idea of angels and really open up to angels, I always felt myself not getting deep enough. And I remember one time just sitting in meditation and trying to open up to the angels, doing all those meditations about imagining your third eye opening up and imagining your chakras coming into alignment and surrounded by golden light and inviting the angels to step forth. And I'm not seeing the blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy arriving and really trying to figure out what that was. And I remember seeing this prayer, something along the lines of, dear God, why can't I see angels? And the clear message just dropped into my heart. It was, the reason you cannot see angels today is because you're trying to see angels through someone else's eyes. And that just really set off a light bulb in my mind, because I think when we want to have a spiritual experience and when we want to experience these divine beings, I think it's really important to check in with our perceptions around whatever it is we're trying to encounter. And if you're trying to see an angel through someone else's eyes, then you might be stuck, And so over the years, I've come to understand that seeing angels is an amazing experience, and, we can speak to that. But I think there's something even more important when it comes to angels, and it's actually feeling them, having this energetic encounter, feeling a presence, I believe will become a lot more useful to you than being able to have, full psychic power of being able to see an angel. Because, I think of, there's this book by an amazing author called Anita Murjani, the book Dying to Be Me. If you've never read that book, I'm sure there's a few of you saying in the comments that you have, if you've never read that book, I highly recommend it. I read it in about 4 hours from beginning to end. And, when Anita Murjani, she had this near-death experience, or I think she definitely died and came back to life, she spoke about how she had this perception of the spiritual realm that was beyond the human senses. And, being able to see a family member in one part of the world and another family member in another part of the world, but having this direct knowing of them. And I had the opportunity to speak to Anita in the earlier years of my author career. And I remember asking, were the angels there? Were the angels there? And Anita just having this, grace and telling me, yeah, she could feel everything like that, but it wasn't like she could see with her eyes. It was a feeling and a knowing. And so I think when we leave the physical body and when we come back to the angels and we are in the same realm as them, we're not seeing with our eyes and we're not hearing with our ears. We're feeling with our heart and not our, the blood pumping one, our spiritual heart. And so for anyone here who's stopped themselves from developing or going further down their spiritual path, there's a good chance it's because you've not seen something. And the truth is, I really believe you don't need to. I think it's about feeling. So going back to my little presentation that I've put together, the most important question to ask whenever you're, studying a subject is, who are the angels? And the angels, as far as I'm concerned, are divine beings emanating from the divine mind. I've studied a lot of things, and one of them is this book called A Course in Miracles. You might see it on the shelf here. And A Course in Miracles speaks about angels as these divine thoughts of God. And I really loved that idea of, if God was to be a gigantic big brain, every time the brain was to think, the thought would be an angel. And so I remember one day, again, in meditation, I've developed a very strong meditation practice over the years, and I highly encourage you to do the same, asking this question of, who are the angels? And I heard this message: angels are the heartbeats of God. Now, to help you understand my way of thinking, and I know that some of you have asked about who's this on the shelf and stuff. So this here is the first guru of the Sikhs, Guru Nanak, and that's an image of Shiva. But if you look in my house, there's Jesus on there that I picked up in a vintage store in Maine. I love all spiritual traditions, and I'm deeply interested in all of them. And when I say the word God, I'm not speaking about a presence that is religious, although it's the same presence that people invoke if they're in a religious setting. For me, God is the universe. It's this incredible, ever-present being. And it's the same presence that shows up through all the different names and faces of religion across the planet. I think of it as the universe, and existing in the presence. And if God was to be a heart, every time God's heart was to beat, the beat would be an angel. Now, this is really helpful information, because a lot of people say to me, hey, why do you speak to angels? Why do you pray to angels and not God directly? And my answer is always the same. Angels are the heartbeats of God. And so therefore, when I am in touch with an angel, when I am in touch with these beings, I am in touch with the heart of God. If angels are the heartbeats, God is the heart. And so when we actually say angel, we're actually calling on the messenger of God. And so when we're saying Elohim, angel of God, it means God is always in the equation, never forgotten about, never outside of it. And I think that's what's helped me really break the mold when it comes to sharing about angels in more religious settings. working in the Middle East and even receiving a letter from a priest in the Vatican, reading my work and being deeply interested in what I have to share, because angels are an echo of the Creator. And so they are existing always one with. And so what I will say is that for anyone who's interested in spirituality or clairvoyance or psychic development, you'll also hear, a lot of famous mediums and psychics and people having these encounters of angels appearing to them. And I'm definitely one of those people. And that's not to say that that experience doesn't exist. What I've come to learn is that angels are just pure divine energy. They have no form. They're like these genderless, formless beings, but they use personifications in order for us to have a direct encounter of them. So you might see your angel looking like, the blonde hair and blue eyed. When the first time I ever had an encounter of my guardian angel, my angel looked like Barack Obama. I have no idea why. I think it was even before Barack Obama became president, but then, and I didn't even know who Barack Obama was, but when I saw Barack Obama come on TV, I was like, he looks like my guardian angel. Is so crazy. So I will say this to you, that angels will use image and identity, but really they're beyond it. And the truth of the matter is so are we. We're in this human shell and we're having this, individual experience, but our truth, and modern science and quantum physics is now starting to really prove it to be true, is that ultimately we're all one and we're ultimately all energy. And so angels are exactly the same. They are heartbeats of the divine, never separate from, always one with, but using these personifications so that we can have a direct encounter. So divine thoughts extending from the divine mind. Now, I want to come back to something really, really powerful here. So we're speaking about angelology and really trying to get into the understanding of angels. But I want to take it a little bit spiritual for a second. This is a remembrance. This is a remembrance. Whether you realize it or not, this is a remembrance that's happening right now, not between us, but between you and your guardian angel. If you're interested in the subject of angels, if you're interested in developing a personal connection with these spiritual beings, I think it's really important for you to know that this is a remembrance. And what I mean by that is, before you were in this body and before you were in this life, you danced across the stars with your angel. Your angel, you have one or many with you, but the angel that is really dedicated to your soul, your guardian angel, has probably been with you for lifetimes upon lifetimes. I genuinely believe that the soul is recycled. We have many opportunities to come to this planet and learn. So your angel knows you like no other. And if you're feeling called to learn about angels and the subject of angels, it's actually you tuning into something deeper that's happening. You're actually tuning into the voice of your soul. And if you feel lit up by angels or supported by angels or loved, it's because you're actually remembering a feeling that was before this body. And let me tell you this, your angel loves you like no other. Your angel is here and they are dedicated to your well-being. They're dedicated to your experience. And the truth is this, you already know your angels. And it's not about, knowing their name or how they look. It's about tuning into their frequency and having this deeper knowing that there is something out there that genuinely cares about you and wants your human soul to evolve, and it wants the best experience humanly possible for your life. That is the presence of your angel, and you already know them. So if that helps, then I'm so glad, because, you know, when I think back to when I first learned about angels from this perspective, and, you know, angels in a spiritual sense, there was just something I couldn't put my finger on it. I just couldn't put my finger on why I was so lit up by this idea of a guardian angel, and why I felt so safe and so connected and so lit up, and eventually being able to develop a relationship where I could hear the angels speak. But there was something just there. There was a feeling. And then, you know, later learning that it's because I'm actually remembering that we were connected before. And the truth is, the reason they feel so familiar is because they are familiar. They know us like no other. So you have a guardian angel, and this being is the keeper of your soul's journey, and they're the record keeper of your life. And so all of your life's experiences, all of the learning that you've had thus far on your journey, your angel has recorded absolutely everything, every encounter, every up, every down. Your angel is kind of like the spiritual scribe of your story, and they know everything that you've encountered. And so this becomes a really helpful thing, because I think a lot of people out there are interested in angels, but water down their capacity to help us by asking their guardian angel to help them find a parking space, or, you know, to help them pay the bills, or, you know, there's nothing wrong with doing any of that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But I think it's also really important to take the relationship a little bit deeper. As your angel is the keeper of your life's journey and the scribe of your life experience, they also understand you and the lessons that you've encountered, you know, much deeper than it would be anyone else. And your angel has this capacity to help you understand your life's experiences and your life's learning. And I think we always, you know, just expect all these beautiful things to happen. We call upon angels, you know, help me find a parking space, help me have enough money, you know, keep you safe, invite in angelic protection. But we can also say, hey, angel, thank you for helping me understand this life lesson. Thank you for helping me come to terms with what this experience is teaching me. Thank you, angel, for lighting up in my mind the pattern that's creating this challenge. You know, that is really a big spiritual opportunity that many of us, and myself included, have missed, where, you know, thank you for abundance and all these things. And I really believe in doing that too. But I think we also can have angels light up in our minds what we need to know. Now, before we go any further, and I'm going to do a meditation with you today for you to call on your angel's presence, I think there's a really important thing we need to address, and it's about learning who your angel is and their name and how you get in touch with them. So the first thing I want to say to you is, when I started to learn about all this 20 years ago, I could see a lot of people getting really frustrated because they close their eyes, do the meditation, and they ask their angel for a name, and the name didn't always show up, and then they feel like they don't have an angel, and then they didn't go any further. So angels, from my experience, are energy. And, you know, that whole idea of vibes speak louder than words is 1000% true. Even though I did one of those meditations all those moons ago, and got a name for my guardian angel. I still use the term angel. I don't know why, but I think I say I don't know why, but I feel like I do. The reason I say angel, my angel, is it's not the words, it's the feeling that I have. And that's where the magic is between you and your angel. It's when you say my angel. There's an energy that is indescribable. Gosh, it's making me well up. I'm like losing it here just by saying the words my angel. There's an energy in just saying my angel. So when you do that, you just put your hand in your heart and you say, my angel. I'm calling on my angel. They come close and they're here. You don't need a name. You don't need to know what they look like. It's the feeling that is the most important. And let me tell you, this definitely took me until recently to really feel and figure out. I want to also bring something else to your attention. The desire to develop your connection to your angel is a miracle. It's a miracle that you're here in this space with me right now. A miracle. And you'll be like, what is the miracle? So a miracle, in my way of thinking, is not just, a puff of smoke and golden glitter and sparkles. A miracle is really a shift in your perception and a changing of the way you think and feel about the world and even yourself. And the reason this is a miracle is because it's a reflection of your infinite worth. If you're here interested in angels and wanting to develop a personal connection with them, then that means that on some level in your being, you believe you're worthy of it. And so therefore, I'm getting this feeling that it has been a long road of recovery and healing from your life's experiences that have brought you into this space where you are considering yourself worthy enough of having a direct encounter of one of God's messengers. There's a part of you that has reached a level of healing and being healed and wellness that has brought you into this space. And so that's a miracle, because there's definitely been a part of your journey where you didn't feel that worthy. There's definitely been a part of your journey where you didn't feel whole enough or good enough, or shiny enough or whatever else it is. So the fact that you're here ready to call on my angel, your angel, means that you have reached a point in your own self-development, your own self-worth, where you think, hey, I really am deserving of this. And that is a miracle. That's big. That's big. And it feels good to strip it back. It feels good to come back to that feeling and, really get into that way of thinking. Now, in the next conversation, and we're not done yet, we're going to really delve into angel signs and the fact that your angels want to speak to you. And I really want to delve into calling on the angels and receiving signs and encounters. But I want to really take you into a meditative state and just invite the angel to come close. And so in the next conversation, we're going to talk about specific signs and what they mean, and when they show up, what is actually happening. But there's two really important prayers that I want to tell you about right now, and we're going to then put them into action. So my book, Angel Prayers, was the book that really changed my life. And I believe it's the book that put me on the map as someone that has something to say about angels in the spiritual and wellness world. And what I came to understand is that when I was speaking to angels, I noticed that I had a better experience of them and a more clearer, more visceral connection to them when I was in this state of gratitude. And I recognized that when I was speaking to them from this place of gratitude, that everything in my world lit up more, and I felt more connected, more supported. I felt guided in a way that I could not describe in any other way. And I then, really went down the rabbit hole of study and looking into this, and I found a lot of information about this way of praying and this way of kind of calling in help from the kind of science of mind belief system and the work of this guy called Emmett Fox. And I learned about, and this other guy called Ernest Holmes. And I learned that there's this type of praying called affirmative prayer. And that's where affirmations were birthed from. And affirmative prayer is about saying a prayer as if it has already happened. And it's one thing to say a prayer, but the other thing is how to feel while you pray. And that's really where the magic is. That's where we project this frequency that creates an openness. And I realized early on in my life that the reason I was so connected to angels and was so able to receive them was also because I had this natural level of enthusiasm and this heightened gratitude because I was so grateful to know these beings were real. And I believe that's what really heightened my connection. So I want to talk to you about this. I learned to pray in Sunday school. I went to Sunday school pretty much my entire, childhood, from about the age of 4 all the way up to 15. I went to Sunday school at the same church. And I was brought up in a loosely Christian household, a Protestant family. But my mum's sister married a pastor. And I went to their Sunday school because all my cousins would go there and, it was a great time. So when I was at that Sunday school, and I also went to this other thing called the Boys Brigade in the UK, which is like again, it's part of the Protestant church. It's a Christian boys scout club kind of thing. And it has Bible study at it. Anyway, I'm not Christian now, but definitely rooted in a lot of Christian teaching. And I learned to pray in a way where if I needed something, I would pray in a way where I would hope that the future would deliver the answer. So I'm going to use a really mundane idea, something really trivial just to figure it out. For example, say I had a sore knee, and I would be like, dear God, please give healing to my knee. And then I would hope that the future would deliver the answer. And I learned that I could change my experience by shifting the way I was thinking about what I was praying about, and feeling like what I was asking was already answered. So instead of saying, please God and angels, bring healing to my knee, I would say something like, dear God, angels, thank you for the healing that has already been given to my knee. It feels so good to be free and flowing. I am filled with gratitude. My body is this emanation of healing and health and prosperity. So I would pray like that. And the most incredible things would happen. And I noticed that the angels would come through so clearly, and I feel them so viscerally because I was in a state of gratitude. And here's the thing I want you to know. Your angels love to hear you say thank you, but not because they want your praise, not because they want glorification, but more, the reason your angels love to hear you say thank you is because the gratitude you genuinely feel, and it has to be genuine, is the energy that is going to magnetize towards you miracles. And so this mantra became a big part of my life, and it was, thank you, angels. I started to say thank you, angels, for everything. Like last night, I texted my mother and I said, I love my home. And she texted me back, I love my home too. And I then put in the chat, thank you, angels. And my mum then said, thank you, angels. And the truth of the matter is, neither of us would have the homes that we love unless I, wrote about angels, because it has given us this fruitful life. And I'm so grateful for it. But, like even times when I take a friend out for dinner, I'll be like, and they'll be like, thanks for buying dinner. And I'll be like, thank you, angels, for dinner. But I'll also praise angels for good things that have happened, like, a near miss in the car. Thank you, angels. A beautiful day with the dogs. Thank you, angels. And I found that thank you, angels, opened up a connection. And here's the thing that you need to hear. If you make this a daily mantra, it's going to allow you to develop a connection to your angels, because for the most part, whenever people pray to angels or God, it's usually when the stuff has hit the fan. It's usually when things have went so wrong that they start to pray for a miracle and they start to pray for change. And the truth of the matter is, if your entire foundation with the divine is built upon prayers when things are going wrong, it's going to take a long time for you to really have a clear connection. Like, have you ever had one of those friends that just texts or calls you when things go wrong? It's really draining, isn't it? Why would you want to be that person to the divine? Why would you want to be that person to your guardian angel? It's a big, big question. So the mantra, or the prayer, thank you, angels, teaches you to start restoring that connection through this consistent thank you. Thank you, angels. This consistent gratitude. And I found that if I use thank you, angels, as a daily prayer and a daily mantra to lean on for when all the beautiful things of my life go right, when something goes wrong, I will use the same prayer, the same mantra, the same affirmation to help me conduct a prayer that will bring me to the miracle of healing, and the miracle that will bring a solution. So, thank you, angels, for this beautiful day with my dogs. Thank you, angels, for the opportunity to buy dinner for my friend. Thank you, angels, for this beautiful home, the beautiful things in my life. Thank you, angels, for the health and wealth that I experience in my body. Wealth for me is just a top up of health. So when things go wrong, like, thank you, angels, for helping me find a solution to this challenging situation. And thank you, angels, for laying your healing hands upon this relationship and guiding it towards a state of compassion. Everything else becomes clean. So the main mantra that I'm teaching about here is thank you, angels. But the two prayers, taking me back to that, two prayers that I wanted to share with you are, thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence. So the reason this is a beautiful, really encouraging prayer is that most people say something along the lines of, angels, give me a sign to know you are real. Now, usually if you're calling on angels, you're already believing in them. So when you say, thank you for reminding me of your presence, you're stating the fact, you're affirming that you believe in angels and that you know that they are around you and you are welcoming in a reminder of their presence. So thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence is the best way for you to really have encounters. And these encounters might show up in signs, they might show up in your dreams, they might show up in a way where you feel that you're being held. But thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence. That is one of the most amazing prayers that I use daily in my life, and I have done, for the last decade at least. So that one is the first one. And the other one is, thank you, angels, for revealing to me what I need to know. Your angels want to light your mind and your heart up with information that's going to lead you towards your soul and your human life's evolution. And the truth is, most people approach their angels always asking for what they want. But what you want and what you need are often two completely different things. So when we ask the angels, or we pray to the angel, we thank the angels for revealing to us what we need to know. We also give space and hold space in our hearts, in our minds, and in our lives for information to be revealed to us that will support us in a way where we might have to change the way we think about this. We might need to do more healing, or do a deeper dive before we can get to the point we want to get to. So asking your angels for what you need rather than what you want often will give you a better opportunity to be whole again. And the truth of the matter is often what you want might actually be minimizing your experience of a miracle, because you just might want this one outcome or this one solution. But what your angels can lead you to could be greater and beyond your own perception of what is possible. And the angels always lead us towards the totality of possibility. That I know to be true. So what I'd love to do now is look all of this together and invite your angel into your presence. And I want you to note how you feel. And I want you to know if there's any colors that come to mind. Maybe a name will come to you or not. Maybe you'll feel a certain way, smell a certain scent. Whatever it may be, just trust whatever is coming up. And if you don't have any feelings whatsoever, just trust that it's going to come. This is something really important, I'll say, is that a lot of people try something once and then stop. And I kind of liken developing a relationship with angels to something kind of like going to the gym. The first time you go into the gym, it's hard. And you're maybe not as strong enough as you thought. You might not be able to pick up certain, weights or run a certain amount of time, but through consistent, regular training, you can lift heavier weight and you can run a longer trek, right? So a longer distance. So when it comes to the angels, we're actually developing a muscle to be able to intuit them and to experience them. And if we've left those muscles dormant for years, it's going to take some time to train them to get open. But if we can consistently visit this, then we have the opportunity to really get somewhere. So if you can bring this, 5-minute prayer meditation into your life a couple of times a day, you'll probably find that something will start happening. So the main thing is you close your eyes, you take some deep breaths, you feel your body, first of all, because how can you feel anything else if you've not felt yourself? So feeling your body and just feeling how it feels to be you. Thinking about something you're grateful for, whether that be someone you love or a blessing of your life or your day, just really tapping into the energy of gratitude. As we know, gratitude is magnetic to angels. Then just saying the words, my angel, thank you, my angel, just feeling that, inviting that. And then saying the prayers, thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence, taking a couple of moments to sit in that. And then thank you, angels, for revealing to me what I need to know. Again, just sitting in that, feeling that, and then coming back into the space. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position. I want you just to rub your palms together and place your left hand on your heart. Your right hand's going on your belly. Closing your eyes and just taking a few breaths. So deep inhale, filling up the belly, then opening the mouth and eyeing it out. And just asking yourself how you feel. And just giving yourself permission to feel the way you need to feel. If the emotions feel overwhelming or challenging or negative, don't force them away or repress them. Just allow them to be there, because angels love authenticity. And after giving some time to how you feel, I want you to focus on something or someone or a memory that you are so grateful for. And that gratitude you feel is switching on this light in the center of your being that grows brighter and brighter and brighter until this divine light washes through the entirety of your physical body. And it also reaches into the field of energy surrounding you, known as your aura. And then just say the words, my angel. My angel. And just be aware of how you feel when you say my angel. Because whether you feel them or not, you're invoking the presence of your angel, this divine being of love, emanating from the heart of God with you now. And to your angel, say, thank you, angel, for reminding me of your presence. It feels so good to know you are here. And if there's a particular area of your life that feels challenging at this time, I want you to think of it. Then I want you to say the prayer, thank you, angel, for revealing to me what I need to know. I am willing to listen. Take a deep inhale, a deep exhale. And trust whatever has come to your mind, your heart. And if there's nothing there yet, trust that what you need to know will be revealed to you in the perfect time, space, sequence. And just closing with thank you, angels. Thank you, angels. And so it is. And when you're ready, just coming back into the space, the here, the now. So there's a few things we did there, but the most important is to note how you feel. And really just allowing that feeling ability to grow, allowing that feeling capacity to be present, and building that muscle has everything to do with you developing a personal relationship with your angels. And coming back to some of the thoughts that we had and shared today, it's a remembrance because you're tuning into something that is ancient, and that's your angel, and you've known them from beyond this lifetime. It's a miracle that you're here because it means that you have reached a level of healing and awareness in your own self-worth where you realize that you are deserving of that loving connection and that loving encounter with your guardian angel. So if you believe you're worthy of it, then you also have this knowing that the developing of a connection and a relationship with your guardian angel is also deeply possible for you. We learned that angels respond to the energy of gratitude, and it's not because they want praise, but more the gratitude we feel is magnetic to the presence of miracles. And so just by saying, thank you, angels, we're opening up the communication lines and developing the spiritual muscle groups to have a direct encounter of them. And so we set the intention to say thank you more than we do, please help me, because we know that the relationship needs to be built on a foundation of trust and authenticity. And so if you're only showing up when things go wrong, you're just coming from need rather than praise. We know that devotion really develops everything. And then these two prayers of thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence. And thank you, angels, for revealing to me what I need to know, are the two most important prayers that I have created or leaned on to help me create, that's what I should be saying, the relationship with my angels. So thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence. Thank you, angels, for revealing to me what I need to know, which have created the relationship. And that should be enough for now. If I was to, spend this whole hour speaking about opening up your third eye and doing all these things, yes, it would make sense. And yes, it could be helpful. But the truth of the matter is, I'm about allowing everyday moments to become everyday miracles. And I think the connection to the angels is not just something that happens on the meditation mat or in the moments of spiritual practice, but in the everyday life. So go and try that for the next, I think we've got a week until our next session, right? So go and try all that out and see how you got on. And then in the next one, we're going to dive into the signs your angels send you, what signs actually mean. And there's an overarching message between every sign and a 3-step process that you should fulfill when you get a sign. And I'm also going to teach you a really basic but powerful angel card practice so that you can get a very clear message from your angels on your way. And you don't have to have one of my angel decks. It can be any oracle deck. If you don't have one yet, this is the one I recommend, Angel Guide Oracle. It's my favorite, most used one. The reason for that is it's super simple. It's quite small and it's quite light to travel with, and I take it everywhere. So check that out. If you are looking for a new card deck, you get it for less than $20. And until the next one, my name is Kyle Gray. Please check me out on Instagram, and I'll be in touch about part 2. All right, lots of love. See you all soon. Bye-bye.